Hello everybody, it's Danny, sitting in my car because I see a lot of people like to make videos in their cars, and I decided I would jump on the bandwagon too. And decided to make this video because we are at a pivotal point right now in New York City history, and this upcoming election is going to be make or break, and is going to determine what the future of New York is going to be like, if we are going to continue down this road to becoming the West Coast, which seems to be what a lot of people here want it to become, or whether we're going to start the process of undoing the past two mayors' damage. Between de Blasio and Eric Adams, it might take decades to undo the amount of damage those two men have done to this city. And with this upcoming election, we have three candidates, and only one of them stands for middle class and blue collar values. And there's a lot of screeching, there's a lot of rhetoric, there's a lot of useless opinions going around. So I'm just going to give you the facts as they are. And this message is, of course, dedicated to my brothers and sisters in the Department of Sanitation, even though I have been out of work now, going on 4 years, for refusing to comply with a vaccine mandate that exempted basketball players, strippers, and their pimps. And in retrospect, everybody who voted for Adams, if they had voted for Curtis Sliwa, things would be a lot different now. And one of those things is that I would still be at work, and you would have never been forced to take a vaccine that under a mandate that exempted celebrities. So I'm here to tell you that when you hear people say that Cuomo is the only person who can save New York City, this is patently ridiculous. So Mamdani and Cuomo are exactly the same. If you like cars like I do, I'll give you a perfect way to understand this. Zoran Mamdani is a Mercury Sable. Andrew Cuomo is a Ford Taurus. The aesthetics of the car are different. The badges are different. But the drivetrain, the transmissions, the engine, completely identical. They're even made by the same manufacturer. You are not getting anything different from Mamdani and Cuomo. They are the same two candidates. They represent the exact same agenda. Cuomo and Mamdani are both pro-vaccine mandates and terminations. They both support defunding the police. They are both anti-law enforcement. They both support and protecting the illegals. They're both against the Second Amendment, which is a state right as well. They are both pro-City of Yes and developer. And they are both backed by the billionaire donor class. Now, the only reason Andrew Cuomo was dragged from Elba was because they realized that Eric Adams' career was toast. And they needed to bring somebody in, a familiar person who can be a puppet to represent the donor class values, the donor class interests. And that's the only reason he's here. Now, Mamdani, too, represents those exact same interests. You're just getting a different aesthetic. So, Cuomo, you get a lot of people saying that we have to vote for Cuomo to protect New York from the socialist Mamdani. When people say something like this, my first thing is, well, what do you mean by that? We got to protect New York from socialism. We got to protect New York from socialism. Do you not realize that New York City operates as a socialist system? Do you pay private companies to come pick up your garbage? Do your kids have to go to a private school? Do you have private companies that you pay to come put out your fires, and if you don't pay them and you're not in good standing, then nobody comes to put out your fires? And if you don't believe me that this was true, you can go down to San Francisco, where many of the old buildings still have the plaques from the fire companies that they paid to come and protect them if a fire broke out. Yeah. Even fire departments used to be private. The fact that we have public schools, municipal garbage pickup, fire departments, that's all socialist. So when people say they're going to save us from the socialist Mamdani, well, we're already a socialist system here in New York. If you want to get rid of that, then you're looking to get rid of a lot of jobs. You're looking to cut a lot of programs. So I don't know what people even mean by that. I think it's just one of these mindless talking points that people just spew out with absolutely no further understanding of what they're actually saying. So that argument is moot. I will even say something very controversial right now, but between Andrew Cuomo and Mamdani, if it came down to the two, and a friend of mine brought this up, and it's an excellent point, I would say Mamdani, because Cuomo is a mass murderer. Like, how are people forgetting the fact that that man's hands are soaked in the blood of his lockdown victims? Every other day in New York State, not even just in New York City, but across the 62 counties of the state of New York, where crime has spiked to unheard of levels, every other day, a repeat offender kills or maims another New Yorker. Hashtag, thank you, Andrew Cuomo. Because the only reason that these repeat offenders are out is because of Cuomo's bail reform. That man is a mass murderer. He would make Roy DeMeo blush. He has killed thousands. And especially since these vaccine mandates are killing and maiming people, how much more blood can he have on his hands? And you want to say this guy is here to save New York City? At least Mamdani's hands are not covered in blood. As far as I can tell, between Cuomo and Mamdani, the only real difference between them is Cuomo is pro-Israel and Mamdani is pro-Palestine. That's it. Find me another difference between the two of them. They even both, Cuomo for many years ran as a working families party. A lot of people say that Mamdani is grassroots. He's not. He's AstroTurf. Mamdani is backed by billionaires. Mamdani, if you've read and I can post it for people to see, and I post it all over the place, and nobody has yet to contradict it or to debunk it, but Sam Antar, who is a financial auditor of the highest grade, because he invented white-collar fraud, and now he does this. He investigates for his leisure. Mamdani is backed by George Soros. Mamdani's campaign through the Working Families Party, through Make the Road NYC, he is being funded by George Soros. In fact, Mr. Mamdani received $1.6 million in straw donations from Gerard McFarlane, who works for the Soros-backed Action Labs, who they've since deleted his profile, but I have a record of it on my Twitter account. $1.6 million in straw donations, and we don't know where they came from. And he hasn't explained where they came from. And now we just find out that he's gotten money from overseas, which is illegal. And if you look at Mamdani's record, most of his grassroots donations are not even from New York City. I think most of them are coming from California. It's not New Yorkers who want this man to be the mayor. It's the national DSA that wants this man to be the mayor. Because they want to put someone like him into the helm of New York to eventually have a 2028 AOC run for president or some nonsense like that. And believe it or not, and this is going to be another controversial thing to say, Mamdani is Trump's candidate. The national GOP is hoping that Mamdani wins this election, because if Mamdani wins this election, they will be able to use New York as an example to see, oh yeah, look what happens. Look at what they did. Look at what happened to New York City under Mamdani. This is why we have to flip everything red. Except what I've told people who don't live in New York City and who are just like, rah, 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 let Mamdani win so New York can learn its lesson. There are 8 million lives here that will be collateral damage to this pissing contest. I don't want for yous to be collateral for this nonsense. It doesn't have to be this way. And when people say to me, oh, but Cuomo doesn't have the numbers. Cuomo doesn't have the numbers. Well, shut up and give him the numbers. If we had voted for Sliwa years ago, look at how different things would be. Sliwa is the only anti-establishment candidate. He is the only anti-establishment candidate. He is the only one who is representing blue-collar, middle-class values. He is the only one whose campaign is centered on making the lives of the average New Yorkers better and not making money for the developers, not proving a point to the GOP. We don't need this to happen where Mamdani bankrupts New York City and goes running to Trump for a bailout, which is what they want, which is what he wants. We are reaching the 1975 conditions, and that is what he wants. He wants this. The only person who actually believes that Mamdani's free stuff spiel is actually feasible might just be Mamdani. He's a puppet. He may not actually be smart enough to know that none of this stuff is possible. Free buses, free CUNY, free rent. He has to be the only one dumb enough, and that he is dumb enough to not even realize this himself, that none of this is possible. And if he attempted any of this, he would rapidly spiral the city into bankruptcy. And he will be forced to go hat in hand to the Trump administration to bail out New York. And there are a lot of people who are saying, oh, well, that would be great because then, yeah, he'll be a puppet for Trump. I don't want Trump to be the mayor of New York. I want the mayor of New York to be the mayor of New York. I want someone who cares about me and you and your families to be the mayor of New York, not someone who is going to use the mayor of New York to get casinos or development, or whatever other nonsense is in their interests. That's not what this is about. If every single blue-collar New Yorker, if every single New York Republican stopped with the, oh, Cuomo don't got the numbers, and just voted for him, he would win. He would win. And we could make a miracle happen. And we could do something that goes against what the system wants. Because the system wants Cuomo or Mamdani. Because they both equally represent the interests of the donor billionaire class. The developers, the NGOs. Cuomo is not the answer. He is far from it. Many of you know people who have died at the hands of Cuomo's policies. He is not here to save New York. He is here to be a puppet. Every day that we wake up and another innocent person is killed or maimed by a violent repeat offender that was released for the umpteenth time. Thank you, Andrew Cuomo. That's all you. When all these people who are saying, oh yeah, Mamdani's pro-criminal and all, so is Cuomo. He wants to give $100 million for the bail funds. Listen, you guys are ready to vote for Eric Adams. Eric Adams has given $10 billion to these illegals. $10 billion. More than any other sanctuary city. More than the sanctuary state of New York. And you're worried. And you think that Mamdani's the only one who's pro-illegals. Well, just so you know, look up Executive Order 170. Look up when Andrew Cuomo made it that illegals don't have to disclose their status. He is not on your side. He does not represent you. And all the people who are poo-pooing Curtis Sliwa, he can't win, he doesn't got a chance. Listen, do what I'm doing. Ask them to tell you why Cuomo and Mamdani are different. How Cuomo and Mamdani are different. Because the answer is they're not. Except for Israel-Palestine. And anybody who is voting on Israel and Palestine in the New York City election is a dimwit. The mayor of New York has absolutely no ability to make the lives of Israelis or Palestinians better or worse. None. But he can make your life better or worse. The fact that the Second Amendment doesn't exist in New York has nothing to do with the president. It has to do with the mayor and the laws here. That you realize when Andrew Cuomo was governor, he signed the SAFE Act. He made it even harder to actually exercise your state and federal constitutional right to the Second Amendment. So, this is it, people. This is a very pivotal point in New York City history. This is make or break. And if you guys don't take this election seriously, I don't know what to tell you. You know, I don't watch sports, and even I know the Knicks suck. If my mom is in a bad mood at night, it's usually because the Mets are losing. You don't choose a team based on their record of winning. You are loyal. You show your loyalty. You pay for season tickets to a team that hasn't gone to the World Series in 20 years because you're loyal. And that's what you need to be today. You need to be loyal to the candidate that represents you. That represents your interests. Mamdani put out a post the other day about how Broadway show stars have their health care on the line, and that they're about to lose some of their benefits. Do you realize that Mamdani hasn't signed Marianne Pizzitola's pledge to protect city workers' health care? But he cares about the Broadway stars. Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa have both signed it. Although Andrew Cuomo was brought you tier 6. Andrew Cuomo was one of the people behind Medicare Advantage and this fight for it. So I don't know why you think that he's going to go along with it. I would just not even take the chance, and I would just vote for Sliwa, who I know will protect the benefits of city workers. It's incredible because Order 62, which got us all mandated to take a vaccine, Broadway stars were exempted from it. How is it that this socialist Mamdani cares more about Broadway stars' healthcare than city workers? Because he doesn't represent you. He represents the people behind Broadway. He represents money and billionaires. Guys, we can do something very special in this election. We can do something to go against what the system wants. Andrew Cuomo's got a team of paid shills all over the internet telling you why you gotta be careful of the commie socialist Mamdani, and he's pro-criminal and he's pro-this. But as soon as they're put on the spot by someone like me who interrogates them and asks them to explain themselves, I get blocked right away. Half these Cuomo shows, they don't even keep their comments on because of people like me who are actively pushing them to explain why Cuomo's a better choice than Mamdani, why we should actually choose either of the Cuomo over Sliwa. There is no logical reason to vote for Cuomo or Mamdani, but there are plenty of good reasons to vote for Curtis Sliwa. And if people say, well, Curtis Sliwa lost war, he doesn't have the experience. Well, Mamdani barely showed up to his job as an assemblyman, and all Cuomo has ever done is screw you over. If you're a Tier 6 employee for the city of New York, well, you can thank Cuomo for that. You can thank Cuomo for Tier 6. Guys, your unions, 13 unions endorsed Adams, and now we're sitting here with egg on their face because Adams dropped out of the election. And now they've stood quiet. And it's curious if they're going to tell you to endorse Cuomo, which would be stupid. Or you can demand that these unions endorse Sliwa. Because Sliwa is the only anti-establishment candidate. He is the only candidate who represents blue-collar, middle-class values. This man has a lifetime of experience helping New Yorkers. And I hear, I don't like the beret. If you're really going to worry about somebody's hairpiece, you're not voting for the right reasons. Because he has dressed up. He's gone in a suit before. And he's professional. He speaks well. And he actually has a platform. I'll be honest with you. Here, I'm going to give Mamdani some more credit. Mamdani's got a platform he's running on. It may be completely ridiculous, but he's got a platform. Cuomo has no platform except for my name is not Mamdani. That's it. Oh, he's going to hire 5,000 new cops. New York City, in the past 4 years under Adams, has lost 14,500 cops since the mandates, through the low morale. They have lowered hiring standards for the NYPD just to get recruits, and they're still not maintaining them. The cops are working 12-hour shifts and are leaving in droves and retiring in droves because this entire system is a failure. And it's because of Cuomo. It's because cops know that if they arrest the criminal, he'll be back out and before his soup gets cold. So Mamdani and Cuomo are no different. They both represent the same agenda. They are a Ford Taurus and a Mercury Sable. And when people will tell you, well, he doesn't have the numbers, well, let me tell you something. Every single blue-collar New Yorker Whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, whatever you are. If you all voted for Sliwa, he would win. And if Sliwa, and I've told you guys this, I begged you guys to fight the mandates. Nobody listened. I made a video 4 years ago that over 14,000 people have seen, where I told when unions went and slashed 12-126, which was their obligation to protect your health care. 14,000 people saw my video. And what did I warn you? They're going to come for your health care next. They're going to come for the actives next. And what is going to happen? You're about to find out the backroom deal made between your unions, the city, and private health care for what your new health service is going to look like. I warned you. And nobody wants to listen. Well, now New York City is inches away from medical tyranny. I know you guys don't know because no one's talking about it, about a couple of recent cases against the mandates that the judges brought down appalling rulings. Pastrana versus New York City. Go look at that ruling. You guys are one lawsuit, and that's the DSNY Garvey case. We are the last chance, the last obstruction that exists in New York before there's all-out medical tyranny. And I know that there's a lot of people who are getting, who go to family courts, who are being tormented. We are being tormented by our courts, by the state, and we were completely denied union representation. And if Sliwa is elected, he will put us back and drop the appeals in our cases. And you might say, well, that benefits me. Well, it does, because I'll get my job back and I'll get the justice that we deserved. But it also benefits you, because I've said this to you before and I have been right. If, God forbid, the Garvey case is overturned on some stupid technicality, then you can be sure there will be no more fake mandate cards. If they turn around and say everybody's got to get a flu shot, they don't have to send you to CVS. They can bring in the PAP truck and give you 3 hours to get your booster, get your flu shot, get your tetanus shot. You will be completely denied bodily autonomy. You will literally be under medical tyranny. So it is in your best interests, and the best interest for the future of your family, that this case gets upheld. Or even better, that a man like Sliwa gets elected and on day one drops the appeals. Because the city is fighting hard to get Garvey overturned. That's what they want. The city is paying private lawyers to fight us. To fight you. This is it, people. This video is 30 minutes already, and I didn't expect it to go on this long. But I can't keep pleading with you, because this is the last plea that I can give. This is it. You have 20 days to decide the future of New York City. And you can either choose between the same recycled agendas over and over, or you can try something different. You can actually try to elect a candidate that is representative of your values, of your livelihoods, of what's important to you. So I'm gonna let this off now, and I'm gonna tell you, don't listen to people who tell you Sliwa doesn't have the numbers, because the answer to that is, well, give him the numbers. Let's all just vote for him. Don't listen to whatever your union says, because your union endorsed a man who played them. 13 unions were played by Adams. Played by Adams. They gave him an endorsement, and he dropped out. He knew he was. He was using them as a negotiating as a negotiating tool to get a better job, to potentially be the, I don't know, ambassador to Albania. That's why he used them. That's why he used yous. So, there's no difference between Mamdani and Cuomo, except for Israel-Palestine. They represent the same exact agenda. In this upcoming election, you have to vote for Curtis Sliwa. Curtis Sliwa has to win. And the only way that happens is if everybody stops listening to the idiots who cannot give them straight answers as to why Cuomo and Mamdani are different. And if they can't, and if they say the word socialist, well, you know the answer to that now. So you want to get rid of the Department of Sanitation? You want to get rid of the fire department? You want to get rid of public schools? Because New York City runs as a socialist system already. This is make or break, people. For the first time in my life, and I hope that one day I would have kids and get to raise a family here in New York, in the city that I grew up in the city that my parents grew up in the city that most of my grandparents grew up in. Actually, all of them, for that matter, yeah. I don't see a future here under Cuomo or Mamdani. And you guys can talk about how you're about to retire and run to Florida. Well, if Mamdani gets elected, he's not going to protect your health care. And I don't trust, even though Cuomo signed the Marianne's pledge, I don't trust him. I don't think that he's actually going to hold to it. He has no reason to. He has no platform. So, when you get home today, look at your family, and this won't be the last time. I'll try to make another video a little shorter. Look at your family, and remember, you and you alone have an obligation to them. Nobody else does. You have to make sure that every candidate you endorse, you have to make sure that every politician that you vote for is representative of your values, and that the future that you allow these sick people to create is the future that your children will inherit. And when there's no jobs, when the trains are not running, when the garbage is not getting picked up, when the pensions aren't paid, when the unions are just for show and just, there for I don't even know what, just remember, you were warned for the past 4 years. And I will leave you with my little quote that I have said to you over and over and over and over again, and I hope to God it actually sinks in. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I add my little addendum. If that horse comes back to you dehydrated and emaciated, he can never say nobody showed him where the stream was. And for the past 5 years, since the mandates were issued, and I begged people to fight them, somebody's been trying to show you where the stream is. You just shrug it off. It's time to stand up for the middle class in New York. And if you got through this 35-minute video of my rant, I appreciate that. And everything that I'm telling you is coming from a place of love. Everybody who knew me on sanitation knows the kind of man I am. I have had no obligations to any of yous because I was denied my union protections. I was denied due process. And here I am, begging you to step up. Because I don't want any of this to happen again. This should never happen again. and Curtis Sliwa is a guarantee that it will never happen again.